Yo ho's a YouTuber's life for me.
Is me, R2, Raphael 2, or Ariel, your favorite Terrapin Space Princess.
What up?
This week, I have a storytime video for you. It is the story of how I was an extra in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Yes, I walked the same streets as the Ninja Turtles. I am not a self-insert. I am canon, goddammit. No one make fun of me when I draw fan art of me and Raph. It could happen, alright? But so, funny thing, I actually already filmed this story time when Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows was in theaters in 2016. That was back in one of those times when I was trying to make YouTube a weekly thing and it just wasn't happening. You know, one of those. You know what I'm talking about. And it's like, I could retell the story, but the events of the story happened in 2015, which means it was more fresh in my mind. So, for the sake of not missing any important details and getting the clearest memory possible, I'm just gonna show you that. I took all of the old raw footage, I edited it all together like I would right now, and fun fact, I actually filmed this a day after we filmed our Ninja Turtle reenactments. It all happened literally the night before. So it's kinda cute. You see me in my messy Raphael hair. Appropriate! With that said, from here I will let you go, and may I present to you, younger me. It's been a while. I am so excited to tell you guys this because I was sworn to secrecy for a whole year. I was an extra in Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. I can finally tell everyone my big story of how I got into the Ninja Turtles movie. Dream literally coming true. I have actually had dreams about this. I've had a dream that I was in the 1990 movie, like in the opening sequence. I've had a dream that I was a foot soldier. And for this movie, I was cast in the parade sequence. It's the Halloween parade, bros. It's the one time a year where we fit in. It's like this very quick dream sequence sort of Mikey in like a parade thing, kind of establishing that he wants to be walking among the humans like a normal person. Firstly, I guess I'll start out with the story of how I became an extra. Because I am an actress, I have signed up on a few websites that talk about casting calls, and this one that I'm on advertises extra casting calls. They don't actually post much, but for some reason they always seem to post up about the Ninja Turtles movies, probably because they film in New York City on location. I applied once, and if you've seen the movie, it's the scene where April is among school girls. I sent in my picture, and they actually did reply to me, but it went to my spam folder, so I missed it. I noticed it a week after they filmed. I was so mad. I was like, oh, all my dreams are destroyed, and that was my chance, I'll never get that again. And then they posted up another one a week or two later, and it was for the Halloween parade thing, and it was like, you need a costume. And at first I was so hesitant to email because it was taking place the same week I was going to Virginia with my friend to a convention. But then I told my friend, who's like also a really big Ninja Turtle fan, and she's like, no! Apply! What are you doing? Apply! So I did. It was Wednesday when I sent in the email. Costume fitting was Friday, so I assumed somewhere Thursday they were going to tell me whether I was in or not. Thursday I wake up and I sleep in late, so it was like midday. I swear to you, I was laying in bed on my phone. I checked my email first thing because I'm like anxious to see if they answered. There's nothing in my inbox. I go to DeviantArt, I go to Facebook, and then I go back to my email. And within the time of me checking Facebook and DeviantArt, they sent me my email saying, first come, first serve. The first 15 people who respond to this message are in the movie. My cat's sleeping on my chest, so I'm like, Amelia! And I throw her off of me, and I get up, throw myself to the computer, respond with everything I need, you know, my weight, my height, my measurements, all this shit. After I send this in, I go downstairs, get my cereal, I bring it upstairs, and I have an email already saying, oh, can you send us a picture? So I just sent them like my selfie. They didn't respond after that, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not pretty enough. I shouldn't have sent them a selfie. What am I doing? I'm so unprofessional. So I like try to calm down, like I have like my inbox open on my computer, you know, doing laundry, I'm getting dressed, I'm like just preparing for my day. 45 minutes go by, and then in my inbox, all right, we're gonna send you the schedule and address of where you gotta be for tomorrow's costume fitting. I just remember screaming, falling out of my chair, and by the time I pulled myself back up to my computer, back into my chair, my inbox has another email with all of my information. That's it. That was my adventure of getting in. I called everybody I knew. My friend was completely 100% okay with me going to this filming instead of seeing her because I ended up going like later in the week anyway. The fitting, not really much to say about this. I had to go into Brooklyn. They had this warehouse rented out or something like that. I went in, I signed in. They had all these racks of Halloween costumes lined up on the wall. walls. They called me in, I went in. I brought like a box of costumes of mine because I have a lot of costumes, but I wasn't sure if they were gonna keep any of them or alter them or something like that. So I brought in very basic costumes, ones that I didn't care about too much. I guess in retrospect, because they didn't end up taking anything, I could have been like one of my more impressive cosplays like Skull Kid or Ganondorf. I ended up bringing some army stuff, my pirate stuff, and they decided on the pirate. I got to put the costume on. They added a few other accessories that they had available. They wrote down what I had on me. They took a picture. They had 2 costume people helping me into a belt that they had with like a sword holster. And a cool detail about the fitting room was that they had these giant floor-to-ceiling posters of each of the turtles. I remember sitting down waiting for them to get to me, and in front of me there was Donatello, and then I looked around and I realized they were all there, and like Raph was over here. So cool. I kind of snuck around a little bit. I went upstairs to the bathroom. I looked into where like the lunch area was. There was stuff being built in like the main area. I'm not sure if that was the other purpose of the warehouse, but you know, I took a picture there as well. I went home, and then filming was the next week. So filming was 2 overnight shoots in New York City. I had to get there around 6 something, and of course I live on Long Island, so it's the most traffic-y time of the day, and I'm also not very punctual, so I ended up being late due to traffic, I think both days. I know I was at least late the first day because I was doing a terrible thing, texting while driving. I was doing the voice recording thing because they had a number for me to call in case I was late. It was like 15 minutes, but still I was like, oh my god, they're not gonna let me in the movie. I parked in the first parking spot that I could find in full pirate garb. I'm walking down the streets of New York trying to find the location. They had this whole street blocked off. They had the big crane with the camera crew walking about. I'm asking people like, oh, where's the extras? Where's the costumes? Because I had to go to wardrobe because they had the holster that they gave me and the other accessories. The extras had their own building. I went upstairs. They had the marching band there. Puppeteers for the parade guys were there. And then I went to this giant cafeteria looking room. I had to sign in. We had to fill in a form for like tax and stuff for both days so we can get paid for this. They ended up calling my number because I was late and wardrobe needed to see me. So I went down to wardrobe. They gave me my belt. I went back upstairs, and then they split us off into groups A and B because what they would do is that they would separate people out onto the street. You know, this side is group A, this side's group B, and then they would shuffle us around to make it look like it's a different crowd, like pretend the parade went farther down the street or something like that. Granted, if you guys have seen the movie, this is a lot of work for the 30 seconds that they actually put in the film. This is a 2-day shoot, 100, 200 people involved, definitely more than 100. And like the result of what was in the movie was like so minuscule, you know what I mean? Big budget Hollywood, everyone. We were in the extra room, I was group B, and then I made a friend who was group A, which was unfortunate. We were filming at night, but they brought us out before the sun set so they could do kind of a rehearsal. They were doing like this big establishing shot with the crane. Oh, it went down. It was like the parade was taking place on this road, so it's lined with all the extras and stuff. And I was on this curb, and the camera was going over us and like down through the parade and turning to look at the sewer. You'll see that in the movie. It doesn't do the big upward establishing shot, but it does go to the sewer for that whole, it's the Halloween parade, bro, that part. And during the rehearsal, like I said, I'm right here at this corner, and one of the guys directing all the extras, he's like, so everyone, if you have a phone, take it out and use your flash because it looks good on camera. You know, like in this day and age, everyone's using their phones, so you know, look like you're enjoying the parade, have your phone out, use the flash, it looks good. And so I'm like, so we can take pictures? And he's like, yeah, but just don't post it anywhere, you know? So, all right, took out my phone, getting it ready, go into the camera, and I look over and I see the guy playing Donatello. He's not hard to spot. He's tall and lanky and he's very obvious. So I'm immediately like, click, 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 click. And he's walking down, and I slowly realize that all 4 of the turtles are right there walking down the street. And I don't know anybody here, so I'm hitting the people next to me like, those are the turtles! Those are the turtles! By the way, no one I talked to during this whole shoot actually saw the first movie. That was very disappointing. This guy next to me like, wait, are those, like, so who's the star of the movie? And I'm like, them! They're the turtles! Yeah, but they're the stars. You're in the Ninja Turtles movie! those are the Ninja Turtles! They stopped literally 10 feet away from me, in front of me, and Mikey took a selfie with the 4 of them, and I'm gonna put that picture in there. It's basically the turtles as humans. If they ended up turning into humans, this is what they would have looked like. I'm so happy I caught that. So cute. They took their selfie, Mikey stayed, the others went down this way. Mikey turns around and starts heading down this road again. And this one girl, there's this girl standing next to me. She was like an Egyptian goddess. I think she actually is in the final film. I think I spotted her. And I guess she was a fan of Noelle Fisher because she was like, oh, I love your work, Noelle, Noelle. And after he was done talking with her, he walked down a little bit more and I just reached out a little bit and I was like, hey, Noelle, I just want you to know that you are my favorite interpretation of Mikey. And he was like, wow, thank you. I really appreciate that. And he, you know, walked away. And it made me feel really good that I got to tell him that because the first movie gets so much shit, especially Mikey, because they called him a creeper in that film. Don't even get me started on how Donatello's only character trait in the Nickelodeon show is that he likes April. Just saying. So anyway, we go back inside, we wait for it to get dark, they call us out again, we start doing the shooting.
Are you ready? All right, roll sound, please. Tony, clear out your stun. There, guys, please. Okay, ready, cheering, and marching!
And after that, they shuffled us, and I ended up on the other side of the street. This is where Mikey ends up coming up from the sewers. So I was there when he first shows up. In the movie, he like rises up from the floor. I was like straight across the street from that scene.
Guys, using the whole street when we get down there. All right, ready, guys? Here we go. And marching.
Where'd he go? He's over there. Someone just said, go Marco!
And you have the Bumblebee cameo. I was across the street for that. In the movie, it like pans over my side of the street. Also kind of a fun thing, while we were filming that, Mikey was over here like getting ready, you know, high five Bumblebee, and the guy actually said action. And I guess maybe the Egyptian goddess chick that I mentioned earlier didn't hear that, because she was like, Noelle, can I get a picture with you? And of course Noelle's a super sweet guy, so he's like, yeah, sure! And of course they got mad at her and they were like, Noelle, no. You can't, we're filming. I'm actually kind of surprised she didn't get kicked off for that. She was a woman of opportunity. I liked her. And then when Mikey's going, New York in the house, I'm like way down the street for that. Mikey was like here in the middle of the road and I got shuffled like all the way down here, so you did not see me at all there. That's where the movie cuts, but they had this whole other thing that they filmed the next day that completely got cut out of the movie. So here's to being in the deleted scenes, because this was actually the scene where I was directly behind Michelangelo. There was dialogue. Okay, I was across the street from where I was in the beginning. The second night we filmed, it was like more of a time passing, like later on in the parade. So what it was is that Mikey went through the parade down here. There was one take actually that I hope at least in the deleted scenes they keep. He went through the crowd, you know, going through, and he was like, hey, to the crowd right there. And when he passed like my area, he actually got right in my face at one point. I was even surprised. He came in, said, hey. It's like a Halloween parade, so I'm like, ah, hi! And then my attention went back to the parade. Comes by me and he stops directly in front of me. And there's some kids over here dressed as astronauts. The kids are looking at him and they're like, who are you supposed to be? And he's like, isn't it obvious, dudes? I'm a pirate. Something happens where the kid reaches out and he's like, that's not a costume, Mom! And they run away and they like run into this girl's arms dressed as like a cheese grater. And you know, then Mikey's all sad and he's like, no, 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 no. And then he's like all sad, slowly backs away down this road. The camera kind of like panned up right there and I'm still on this corner. So again, you could have saw me perfectly right there as Mikey walks away because he's not accepted by humans. If anything, I am happy that you did see me in the final cut. A few other fun things to mention. The kids were played by little people because child labor laws, they couldn't stay for that long. You know, when they filmed behind them, Mikey was talking to them, it was little people. How they would film Mikey, like, you know, he's in the motion capture suit. They would have him do it a few times and then he would leave set and then they would move the camera in the exact same way, just without him there for animating Mikey in. I asked them, like, do they use the one take where he's not there and just put him in there? I feel like that doesn't make sense. And the turtles are big enough to go on top of the motion capture suit people fine. So that's probably like a just in case they don't want them in a certain way or they want to move them a different way. I don't know. And then they do it one more time with a figure of Michelangelo about like that tall, completely fully detailed, a statue of him. And then they had a bust that was half Raphael and half Leonardo. They would do it for both of them. They would go through doing the exact same motions. Like I'm thinking about the swervy thing that he did, have someone holding up the statue and he would go through with the Mikey statue and then do the same thing with the bust. And that was so they had the lighting and the coloring down for the animators later. And I thought that was really cool. They also had this big circular blue screen manhole that they had on the ground. I don't remember who is looking up. I think it's Leo when like Mikey hits down on him. But like they had that in the middle of the road for that. Parade people were really messing with the crowd. They kept on putting their puppets in our faces and hitting us and stuff. And I think that is in the deleted scene. I hope it is. Noel was super nice. I said goodnight to everyone like when he walked down the street, you know, when he was done for the night. I don't know if this is the same for other movies if you're an extra, but they were like really, really nice to us in the sense that they made sure everyone had water bottles. It was cold out, so they let us bring our jackets outside and then drop them on the ground when they had to film. They were handing out Halloween candy and they gave us a lunch break, but it was like the middle of the night, so it was more like dinner. They had this huge buffet. It was good food too. And they had a little sandwich set up. I made myself a PB&J the first night. And in the lunch area, I saw Michelangelo's motion capture shell just sitting there and I took a picture of that. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the filming part. And then like when we were done, it wrapped up early the second night. So the first night, I ended up walking away through this road. And then the second night, I ended up walking back to my car going down this road. Same road where the turtles would walk away when they were done filming. I swear to God I didn't do that on purpose because my car was in that direction. As I'm walking down this street, there are 4 trailers lined up on the curb and I see on the side of them they have the little lights camera action thing and the words that come out of my mouth are, oh my God, those are their trailers! I'm not the kind of freak who would have like knocked on their door or something like that, but I thought maybe I would like write them a note just like, hey, you know, I think you guys are one of the best interpretations of the Ninja Turtles. The characters, I think they really have the personalities down. The first movie got so much shit. I wanted to be supportive. I wanted to give them something. I wanted to give them a little like, hey, you're doing great, keep it up. But alas, there was a crew member who I recognized who was going the exact same way I was going. So at the crosswalk stopped and I couldn't go anywhere. I just had my phone out and I was just like, click. And then I kept walking. I got back to my car and I drove home at 4 or 5 a.m. Which, by the way, the New York City skyline in the morning, the sun is right on all the windows and stuff and that city just sparkles. It's gorgeous. I got my little paycheck a few weeks later and I put it into the slot of the DVD thing, but when the new movie comes out, I put it in there. I'm so happy I got to do that. I will never forget it and I'm glad I got to record it and share it with you guys so I can go back and look at this video and not forget anything. And I even got to go to the world premiere of it in New York City.
Go Ninja, go Ninja!
This whole movie is just like been so special to me. And I also got to be on set for the first movie as well. I was gonna make it a sub-story here, but I realized that it probably deserves its own video. Maybe the premiere too, I don't know. There's not really too much else to say about that. I don't know. I feel like this video is gonna be too long. Let me know if you want to hear more turtle movie stories, because I seem to be really good at getting myself involved with them. I'll be back for the third movie.
Oh, that one hurt.
I have no idea how long this video is, but if you listened, thank you so much for watching. This was really fun to tell. I'm so glad I can get this off my chest and share it with the world. Dreams do come true. I'm not gonna do Till Next Time, my turtles, because it's stupid. I'm gonna try a new one. Is this even stupider? R2 out. I don't know how to wrap this up, so you know what? R2 out. Also, in between takes, the kids playing the astronauts, as soon as the director said cut, they would run up and down the street, high-fiving everyone on the curb, wasting everyone's time, but it was like so funny. If it looks like I obviously just put this in, it's because I just remembered this after I turned off the camera and I'm like walking out the door. I want to remember everything, I'm sorry!